Sorry, Gary. I don't say to you winning is not important. It's the player has to take ownership of the result, and the coach has to create the winning culture at the training session and also in the weekend for the player to demonstrate what they have been taught or what they're supposed to learn during the week. We always say 5 days to develop, 1 day to perform and to win, and not the opposite. Soccer has been built upside down a bit in the US. If you ask on Monday to your coaches, director of coaching, did you win the game or what was your result? I think it's a wrong way to engage a very productive and meaningful discussion with your coaches. All the courses, Gary, are made to develop the team, not to develop the player, not to optimize the player.
Hello, coaches. Welcome back to another Modern Soccer Coach podcast, lively one this week. We are joined by Fred Lipka, Technical Director of Youth Development at Major League Soccer, MLS. We talk about youth development, we talk about coach development, we talk about the progress and the direction that MLS are making. Fred's doing some really unique work in that space. Fantastic insight. Hope you enjoy it. Please make sure you like. Please make sure you subscribe if you do. If you want to go one step further, and write a comment of your opinion of this interview. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What's your thoughts on the state of the game? Please let us know on the comments below. Massive thanks for your support. And speaking of support, a big thank you to Zone 14 Coaching for teaming up with us again for this podcast, built by coaches for coaches. If you've ever finished a session and wondered, did that really hit the mark? You will love what they have created for coaches. Zone 14's next gen journals for players and coaches help you plan every practice, reflect on what's worked, and track the progress all season long. Based on intentional coaching and backed by the neuroscience, they make it easier for you to bring structure and purpose to your training so you and the players can get the most out of every practice and game. They have a special promo code, $5 off for Modern Soccer Coach listeners. I will put the link below. Use the code ModernSoccer5 at checkout, ModernSoccer5 at checkout. Zone14coaching.com, because great coaching starts with great planning. Massive thank you to Zone 14. Massive thank you to Fred. Again, please make sure you like it. If you enjoy it, please help us spread the news of the podcast to keep getting guests like Fred on. It means a lot. Thanks for your support. Here he is. Enjoy. Fred, thank you so much for joining me today on the Modern Soccer Coach podcast. Really excited to chat.
Thank you, Gary. It's my pleasure to be with you and to talk about soccer and player development, coaching education. That's a big topic.
Big topic. I've been in America quite a long time. I'm always interested to try to get a thermometer of where we're at, where people think we're at. You've been here a number of years now in the system. How have you seen the culture of coaching development evolve in your time in the US?
Very broad and interesting question. I would say soccer has been built upside down a bit in the US. I would say the pro game wasn't really around the corner or not really solid in the landscape. So I would say the clubs, the elite academy clubs, the club created in pocket of immigration, the big clubs took over. I would say the soccer activity and coaching education, which was normally delivered everywhere by the federation or a pro league, but most the federation has been grown organically through the federation, but also through different entities, private club, private company. So it's totally different than what I know in Europe, where it's a prerogative of the federation to deliver education. We start to see some, I would say, private company or inspired by methodology from clubs or from individual coaches to pop up in Europe. But it's less present than in the US, in North America, where I think a lot of people have been frustrated by the capacity to offer at an affordable cost a qualitative coaching education. When I say two aspects, geographically speaking, uh, we're still a country where we have a lot of challenges to solve, and it gives an economical challenge as well to organize courses. That's a big aspect. Also for competition, by the way. Not sure we will solve in the short term the geographical aspect. In terms of quality, the absence of mentors, the absence of people which really play the game and taught the game, because there are two aspects. To have great mentor, it's not automatic, but you need to have people which play at the highest level or develop it, player at the highest level, and also taught the game, because playing is not teaching. It's a shift in a career, and we see sometimes it's better to when you play the game, but it's not automatic. If you to become a great teacher of the game, if you were a great player, it's a different, because you have to be on the second in a second row. You have to be to serve the player. You have to serve the game, and sometimes players think it's going to be very easy and very natural for them to coach, and they always relate to themselves when teaching is more about the players. So I think we're getting better. I would say now MLS is 30 years old. We have other pro league around the corner. We have US soccer has managed to enhance the level of delivery as well. We have more players which are in the game. Um, Kids and people have more access to the information, which is domestic information, but international information as well. There is no barrier, there is no border in learning now via internet. So uh, 10 years ago, a lot of coaches were going abroad to learn. I think it's getting less and less, because now we are more able, I would say, as a collective, to deliver courses which are at the level of what the good nation and best nation are doing. I say that because I developed coaches through my course, and now those those coaches, those students are now our educators, instructors. So I can tell you that if you put the energy and the commitment and the time, dedication to develop leaders and educators, and they become your next expert to develop another crop of coaches.
Yeah, so interesting. It's so interesting. It's a hot topic on our podcast. Even in recent months, we had probably Romeo Josek was probably the most outspoken in terms of the player side of you, and I want to get to that, but I want to stay on the coaching side. In the first part of this interview, Romeo and the player talked about, again, some of the challenges that you referenced there, the vastness, the levels of competition, the stage of the game, all being barriers to player development. Do we have barriers to coach development in addition to that? Is there a cultural piece of education that the US, the UC think that's
The US is not different than the other country.
it's
The
not?
is not so different. I think we think it's better. The grass is greener elsewhere. The most important thing is to align what we are doing, what we how we are doing it, and to align the goals. Give you an example. All the coaches in the US, and also I would say in most country are recognized and promoted by result. I would say you go up the ladder because you won the state cup, you won the last championship. I think it's totally bullshit. I think the recognition of an educator is first to create a great culture, to be able to enhance the individual potential of each player. And in my part, very selfishly, in MLS Academy, how to help and support the kids to reach the first team level, because this is what the player pathway is about. But I think we created, for example, a ranking 13, 14 based on quality of play, because I think there are a lot of coaches which will never win the competition, but are able to deliver a great way to enhance the their teams and also to develop their player individually. And I think we should invent. I tried with my team and next and all the next group to do so, to try to put the focus on something else and to remove the burden of, oh, I want to be successful. I want. I used to have a mentor in my young career. He was saying to me when I took the job, his job, he gave me the job. He said, Fred, if Monday you arrive at the office and you ask for the result, it's a very bad sign you send, because everyone would want to please you in saying, "Oh, I win the game, I won the game, and my boss is going to be happy." I always put the discussion, because I was also seeing the game, about the quality of play, about the methodology, about the principle of play applied or not, because you play face an opponent, and you can have the game model, but sometimes it's not the way you can play, because the opponent is better. So if you ask on Monday to your coaches, director of coaching, did you win the game or what was your result? I think it's a wrong way to engage a very productive and meaningful discussion with your coaches.
You talked there about specialization, and maybe it's not the results path. Maybe it's the being able to create the environment. Maybe
Uh, Sorry, Gary, I don't say to you winning is not important. It's the player has to take ownership of the result, and the coach has to create the winning culture at the training session and also in the weekend, for the player to demonstrate what they have been taught or what they're supposed to learn during the week. We always say uh, uh, 5 days to develop, 1 day to perform and to win, and not the opposite. It's not 2 days to develop and 3 days to prep the game because I need to win. It's kind of reversing the priorities. The game is only a test at the end of the week to see if you first are able to have the mental capacity to learn to win, but also to see if you retain your what you have been taught. Sorry for the start, but I don't want to think that you have to enter and winning is not important. It should be ingrained in your brain, and everything should be done also at the training session to develop this capacity to win.
staying with that, does that winning is important, but not at the expense of development, is what you're saying.
Yes, because when the coach wants absolutely to win, he's going to yell at the kids. He's going to yell at the parent. He's going to yell at the ref. I see games at all level. The guy, the coach, is focused on the ref for 95 minutes, and his bench as well is not able to manage his bench. Is not able to manage the parents, and he yells at the ref every single minute. So he's only focused on the action when the coach has to open his angle to see the goalkeeper, to see what happens between lines, to see what happens behind the back four, to see the opposite goalkeeper, to see the pressure on the ball. How can they do that? How can they do their job to analyze quietly and with meaningful and expertise in the game when they are always focused on the ball and the ref? It's tiring, exhausting.
Do you think there's an issue then with that results versus development? You're saying it should be both together, but do you think there's a career pathway issue where coaches naturally at U12 want to be a first team manager over here, or see themselves?
I think I'm maybe a dreamer, but things should happen naturally when you are doing a good job. Okay, so that being said, it's also the leaders of clubs, director of coaching, executive directors, GM, sporting director, to look for the next talent. And the next talent, I'll give you an example. Wilfried Nancy at Columbus wasn't the most sexiest, the sexiest name in the pot when they decided to promote him. He was like assistant. Oh, Wilfried, pick pick the position, take the position. We have nobody else. And when we give a chance to, I would say, gifted people, unfortunately, it's sometimes by accident. But I think the role of a leader is to try to chase and to identify the talent of tomorrow. So they have to have a strategy in club to say, this is a guy which can, I would say, be the next coach, assistant coach, based on the, I would say, attributes, technology, capacity to lead, capacity to convey a message, capacity to be clear and simple in his methodology. So um, I, f- I unfortunately, the leader always identify what is very easy to identify. It's mostly the result.
Do you think that role then is that a director of coaching? Is that executive director, technical director?
It's the responsibility can be shared, divided. At the end of the day, is most the guy which pick the coaches. Uh, Unfortunately, in the US, in North America, some director of coaching are more focused, unfortunately, on developing programs, meaning managing administratively the club to find money, camp, to to yes, to improve the budget. I don't think that's the role of a director of coaching to develop programs absolutely based on economical aspect. I think the director of coaching has to take care first of making the other coach better. And the director of coaching, ultimately, if he has a role, should be the one which promotes uh, the next coaches because they apply the methodology, because he see them on a daily basis, because he see what they're doing after the session, before the session, talking to parents, talking to the kids, and he see also the quality of play. There is no rocket science. We know it's in the young team. If you have a big striker, if you have a big tall goalkeeper and good goalkeeper, you are mostly to win the game, even if you don't play very well. So they have to be able to analyze that. How many passes do you complete? How many link up do you have between midfielders or between midfielders and forward? How many times the forward, if you play with two or three, are completed passes or try to complete passes? This is, I think, the better way to evaluate the capacity of developing players. That only scoring, winning 3-0 when you missed, by the way, 10 goals because the team facing you was not at the level. So you can say, yo, great. Yes, I scored 3 goals, coach. Yes, but you missed 10.
Yeah. So yeah, more more process focused than outcome focused. Do you
So you divide the outcome, or especially in youth, my ideal 60% quality of play, 40% the game, or 50-50, or 80-20. But I don't think the result only should be the final judge of the, because otherwise you don't put the best kids. Sorry, the best potential. You are going to be very short-sighted in terms of what player you play, you put on the field. I see in the US, but not only in the US, in Europe as well, because I do every times the relative edge effect by quarter in our competition. We know that 50-60% and sometimes more of the kids are born in a quarter one, quarter two. It's not only in the US, it's everywhere. So my point is, if I promote you, Gary, because of the result, you are going to put the kids which are the most robust physically, and we avoid to develop the kids, which sometimes is a bit hidden. He moves well, he thinks well, but he lose the duel, and because you lose the duel, you are going to have a counter attack, and you are going to lose the game because the big kids is going to be And I don't want to also put the too much emphasis on the big kids. That they have the right to play. My point is the job of the team with the big kids has to tell him and to teach him how to move off the ball. Because when he will arrive 17, 18 years old, and everyone is going to grow, it won't be the same story. He's going to be caught up by the others, and he couldn't find the solution because, cognitively speaking, it didn't stimulate his brain and decision making.
Hello, coaches. We'll take a quick break here. One of the biggest challenges for any coach, especially at club level, is staying organized and intentional throughout a long season. That is exactly what Zone 14 coaching is all about. They make high quality coach and player journals that help you plan smarter, track progress, and build better habits on and off the pitch. These are next gen tools grounded in intentional coaching and backed by the neuroscience that shows that players learn faster when they think about what they're learning and not just doing reps. The Coach Journal is a season-long planner for real coaching life. They've got pages for practice sessions, match outlines, tournament plans. They've also got pitch notes, rosters. They've got a ton in there. I've seen both the coach one and then the other one, the players journal, which is unbelievable. It gives players an opportunity to stay accountable. It gives players an opportunity to reflect. If you missed the interview we did with Ike last week, where he discussed the importance of reflection, what they're trying to do with Zone 14 coaching, please check it out. They're doing some powerful work in the space. A massive, massive thank you for them to supporting the podcast. They've also got a promo code for Modern Soccer Coach podcast listeners, $5 off your next order if you use the code Modern Soccer 5. I'll put it in the link below. Modern Soccer 5, Zone14coaching.com. Please, coaches, I know it's that time of the year where we're resting before we gear up for a big season. So before you do gear up for the big season, please go ahead, check out Zone 14 Coaching. Fantastic resource. Like I said, I've checked out their work. Outstanding. Go and see it for yourself. Zone14coaching.com. Use the coupon. Massive, massive thank you. Back to Fred. You mentioned earlier about the licensing, improving, getting a bit more sophisticated over here. It looks to be your role with MLS structuring around that has been to add the layer of CPD, continuing education, informal learning around that. Is that accurate?
I would say MLS wasn't supposed in this business of coaching development. 12 years ago, 13 years ago, 2012, my boss came and said, Fred, we spend money a lot of money, but we don't do a great job. For all the reasons, based on experience, the DA has been created in 2007. After, I would say, 6, 7, 8 years, he came to me and he said, I met him in Paris, he said, I think we missed something. And if I did something smart at that time, is I bridge MLS and FFF, and I said, what I know is I followed, I was involved in a 2 year course in France to develop academy directors, which are more on the methodologic side, not the leadership side. It's how to develop leaders in charge of developing best potentials and not absolutely winning the games. Winning the games is okay. It's not a part of this course. How to improve capacity to read, perceive, make decision, execute, because what people see is more the execution, but you have everything before the execution. And if you are not improving the kids here, you still, execution still a kind of only the part which is above the surface. So, and it told me, do you think you could, with FFF, French Federation, replicate that for our MLS leader, MLS academy director? And I was fortunate enough to be the guy which coordinated and organized this course with the French Federation and MLS club. So I became, I would say, a consultant. And first, after 2 years, they asked me to come in New York. But we enter in this world of, if you really invest money, and we invest a lot of money, more than 100 million, 150 million per year in player development at MLS, in our academies, I would say, globally speaking, you need to have expert, and you need to have the right people to guide your academy. Otherwise, you are going to throw the money out of the window. So during this first promotion, 2 years of development, it was a shock of culture. Greg Vanny, Wilfred Nancy, Mark Nichols, Larry Sunderland, Brian Scale, all those guys we called the trailblazer, were like in a kind of in a cage of completely losing their mind about an expert coming about pedagogy, a physical aspect, how grow the kids, uh, 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 methodology, on-field methodology, off and off the field. So, and at the end, it was obvious that it was something they never experienced. So we decided, and now it's a sixth round of EFCL. We have developed with this cohort 120 coaches, which are in MLS Academy. Sometimes they left, sometimes they are in USL, they are the national team. You have several coaches which are now national team coach for the boys. So, long story short, they discover another world. And the success of this course is it gives you a special tag, a special taste that most of the club in MLS look for because it gives you additional knowledge and experience and capacity to teach. That's it. And it doesn't mean you have absolutely to apply the French methodology, but it gives you the foundation to build your own philosophy based also on the identity of your club. We have no religion, possession, transition. I have my opinion about how to develop a kid. It's better to develop him on the ball than against the ball. But if a club wants to develop the kids against the ball, that's not my business. We want diversity. We want, they can do it, but do it well.
Hello, coaches. We'll take our second and final break for this podcast. Again, I really appreciate you listening. I really appreciate all the support. We're in December now for Modern Soccer Coach podcast and the YouTube channel throughout the year. Every like, every share has really helped us grow the platform. We're up to 62,000 subscribers. Our socials are also working really well as well. We're up to over 55,000 on Instagram. We're over 100,000 on Facebook as well. We don't promote social media accounts. We use our content to build out our community. We want to always challenge the conversation, and we want to be part of the solutions across the soccer landscape, whether that's tactical solutions, youth development, whatever it is. Thank you so much for joining us in that journey. If you want to go ahead and check out more information, please look at Modern Soccer Coach Insider. Please check out our Modern Soccer Coach online courses. Please check out our Modern Soccer Coach ebooks. If you enjoy the work, if you think that, yes, it's worth an extra little bit of investment as you look to develop as a coach, please check it out. modernsoccercoach.com, modernsoccercoach.com/shop. We've a ton of resources. If it's not for you at this moment in time, no problem at all. But please go ahead and make sure you like, and please make sure you subscribe. If you share this with your coaching colleagues, it helps us a lot as well. Thank you so much for all your support. Oh, this is really interesting. I've interviewed obviously Peter McDonald's been on. He's gone through the course. Tony Annan's gone through the course. The kind of consistent messaging that I've heard about the course is that I think this is what Tony said, it actually strips you bare and then you build up again. You confront a lot of tough truths about your coaching. Well, the way people talk about this course is a lot different than people talk about US licensing, which is almost seems to be a philosophy of we'll meet you where you are and support you around where you are. And the ECFL course looks to be, no, you're going to get to this level and we're going to.
So, first of all, we don't arrive and say what you're doing is not good. It's shit. It's not what we are doing. What we are doing is try to show something else, to try to deconstruct the habits, and to try, after winning the trust of the people on the field and off the field, to try to guide them to know themselves better and also to know the game better and to know how to stimulate on and off the field better. Because This is about stimulation, but it's difficult to teach. Don't want to give you a name, but you are very directive. Oh, this is directive. You think your coach well, but it's not me which invented the quote of Benjamin Franklin. Tell me, I forget. Teach me, I may remember. Involve me, I'm going to learn. But old school way was to be very top-down approach. I'm going to tell you, you are going to do it, and you are going to execute first. So their generations have evolved. They have access, like us, to the same information. And if you think the old school way is going to work or to be optimal to develop and to give ownership to the player, you are totally wrong. It can work short term, but long term, it won't work. So, what we say is not changing yourself. It's say try to stimulate the kids differently because if you stimulate him differently, constraint based approach, led approach, uh, technical approach can be behaviorist, meanings repetition because we need repetition, but also based on the game because you make a decision and you link up the cues. You can link with the relate to the cues which are there. That's good. We don't have one solution. Try to know how to stimulate the kids, and you will pick what is best for you. But you have to know. You can be called Tony, Pete, Wilfred. That you are more built like that, so you are very comfortable to do that. We suggest you to also think about how to teach differently and how to approach yourself to be more efficient in your teaching style and your communication.
You mentioned there Clairefontaine. I mean, how would you describe if I was to go through a French methodology or the French way? You mentioned also diversity? Does French football look at value diversity in their learning?
I don't think there is one method.
Mm.
Barça, Real, Villarreal, Lyon, Bayern. I don't believe in it. I think you have to be able to pick whatever is good, whatever you believe in. I think it's a lot of marketing. I think it's teaching is pushing all the button, and kids, your kids won't be like my kids. So I need to go or say, oh, this kid is more visual. Yeah, I have to show him. This kid, I have to talk to him because I have to reassure him. He's very analytical. So I'm going to tell him to check the boxes. I'm going to have a chart. Did you do that? Check, check, check. Okay, boom, done. Next one. So it's more to know how the people learn and the kids learn, and after you apply the right recipe. So your methodology can be you learn facing challenge. There is no perfect model everywhere around the world, in Europe, in South America, and in Asia. But the kid is going to find his way because of the resilience, because of he has to adapt, because he has to change coaches. Uh, put him out of his comfort zone with support is the best way to achieve your objective. And people think sometimes here, I hear the debate about the school year, the birth year. Oh, but the kids have to be. Yes, but the kids have. They're going to find their way. They're going to find another group of of friends in a soccer team, not exactly the same than the school, and it's good for them. I think we have to challenge our kids nicely to prepare them for this very uh, uh, tough period, which is entering in the real world. And if you always put a cocoon around them, uh, uh, you are not you are not helping them. It's my opinion. So diversity of thought, yes. Uh, 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 doctrine, doctrine. I would say you have the big club in the world. I was in Philadelphia in a in a in a convention 3 weeks ago, and the guy from Ajax, our said Ajax is not is not teaching or is not playing the way they used to be because everyone has improved their levels. They are not alone on the island. You have a lot of clubs which do a great job everywhere. So they were the king of the castle 20 years ago. But now you have to be adaptive. You need to find solution. You have to create uncertainty. Too much certainty or lack of creativity is going to kill the capacity to win and to be successful. So, in fact, you have to create now the player of tomorrow, which is a knife, a Swiss knife, which able to solve individual and collective problems. You can, you should have an identity with a kind of a sauce, a special sauce of your club. But if you have to play like that at the in first team to win the game, you have to do it. But if you don't do it before, playing, give you an example, playing different system of different principle, different position, versatility, they are very real topic in development.
Some of the offerings that you're having from a CPD standpoint, MLS, are incredible. Even I was at the event in Philadelphia. It was, I mean, it was insane that there was free first and foremost, and then but the level of conversation, the level of topics were, I thought, extremely high, pushing the conversation. I don't like asking this question, Fred, but I feel as if I have to. Like, how do you judge growth in coach education or coach development around those events?
I think people are very enthusiastic because now we are able, with the help of the French, with the help of Aspire was from Qatar, with the help of the Spanish, with the help, but we have also internally with Philadelphia, which is now a world-class facilities and academy. We have the several academy which do the, as good as the best academy around the world. So we are proud, MLS or not, to say, oh, now we are leaders. We were left over. People were mocking you. By the way, 10 years ago, now people around the world recognize you because we are able to develop a free man in Orlando, inspire a kid, which was, by the way, the son of an NFL player, picking soccer, a great athlete, and not only a great athlete, a great soccer player, because athlete is not only being fast, it's being shifty, good footwork, coordinated. And what's Messi is important for our reputation, for our perception, the perception of our league. But I can tell you abroad, the real deal is when they see our young players being able to perform and now to populate our team with, I would say, minutes and to be sold and to be evaluated like they never been over the last 2 decades. So this is a real change. And on the coaching side, we managed to create leaders, to create people who say, domestic coach. I know in the US, if I am committed, I have some also capacity to learn. I can become the next coach in academy, but next coach in MLS or elsewhere. I would say another league, USL, national team, uh, 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 and I think it's very good. I don't think our domestic coach has to do complex of inferiority, not superiority for sure. It was the case sometimes. Oh, I am the big guy in the academy, and I know how to teach. I am the winner of the state cup. That's nothing. Globally speaking, I would say we created GA Cup to be beaten by River Plate, by all the best team, because our clubs were winning and were dominating. We created GA Cup with Alfonso Mondelo to be beaten by the international and say, oh, calm down. This is a benchmark. The benchmark is not in the US, not in Canada. It's abroad in terms of players and also in terms of coaching, because we still have at the club level a lot of progress to make in being inspired by the best academy. So coaches now, we have the knowledge internally, not only us, but we have the knowledge in our clubs to to share with lot of humility, but lot of enthusiasm and no shame to say, guys, we can be and we can help each other. And at the end of the day, we are going to secret, we are going to develop our own resources to become a top nation in the world.
You mentioned their inferiority. I still think there is a US inferiority when you talk about the global game. Bob Bradley went to Swansea, whatever year that was it 10, 15 years ago, and got ridiculed for being an American in a big league. Do you think that will change in the near future? Do you think we'll start to see Americans moving?
It has changed. I think it has changed. I know Bob Bradley, a good coach. I think our coach are not renowned enough. The recognition of the US and North American diploma and expertise is not strong enough for our coaches to go abroad. I think Wilfried, but he's French. I think Greg Vanny, a guy like that, or sorry if I forgot more. They are younger and they could have a shot to go also in Mexico, by the way, which could be a good playground for our coaches. Mickey Varas, guy like that. I think they will have a shot because now MLS is seen differently. Is seen like a very diverse in coaching, in playing, and we are more competitive against Mexico, against the other countries. So if our diploma certificate are recognized, which is not the case for now, the FIFA Pro license is not recognized, and it will be very difficult for our coaches to move. And I know also in our MLS staff, assistant coach, we have a lot of talent which will be the coach of tomorrow in MLS and maybe beyond. So it will take some time, but I think in 5, 10 years we will see movement in our from American coaches, and I say American, it's not automatically American. They can be French from Mexico background, Brazilian background, but America is a bit of everything.
Yeah, the last coaching question. There seems to be a bit of a community building. Then you mentioned there about the growth. Something that I've noticed in as the academy is starting to build out, as your CPD events are now acting not just as education, but also acting as relationship building, networking. That's a piece of it as well.
I would say we were a bit atop of the hill, kind of. Oof, we are MLS. I think a good club has to be accessible for everyone, a hub of knowledge, and you have to share knowledge because you have a community around your club, and everything I did was always to recreate the locker room. Locker room in my office with the people I work with, because if without enthusiasm and without I would say having good love, it's difficult to be at ease. But also with the community of coaches we are in touch with. I would say for me they are a part of the family because we talk to them to recruit players, we talk to them to exchange ideas, we talk to them for a friendly game. So it would be stupid to not being, I would say, community based, especially because the culture in the US is not quite there. It's a culture which has been developed in Kearney, New Jersey, in Milwaukee with the people from east of Europe, in Chicago, the same Serbian club, and now we are at the stage where all the generation wants to be a part of the real game. So it's more structures. We have national platform. We have a better regional platform, and everyone wants to. It's a son of the son and sometimes a grandson, which are now in soccer because their grandpa put them on the field. So it's a more visible culture, and MLS. I try to to do my part in making MLS. I would say accessible and to share knowledge with our community of coaches.
You mentioned about the talent. We'll talk about players now for the last section here. You mentioned about the talent, and obviously, I think everyone in the world can see that there's a real increase in the talent that's being produced in the US over the last 10 years. And this might be a controversial question, Fred. So if it is, just you can shut it down. But it looks like there's more people from overseas, big clubs that are now having scouts over here, and some of those scouts are living here. Is that a threat to our ecosystem over here?
It was a threat. It's not a threat anymore. Very specific cases. Why? Because you are as more equipped than other country to do the job. And I would say, for now, it's maybe easier to start your career in MLS because the talent is there and we don't have to be shy about the talent we have. It can become better, but we have talent and we have nothing less than the other country, except the big country like I would say Brazil, Argentina, France. And our kids sometimes take more time to be mentally tough like the others, but with time, they are able to do it. It's a question of timing. Don't expect the kids to be tough like they are in Argentina or in France in a low housing income because they grew up differently, but they are not less equipped than the others. It's just a perception and a process. Yes, we are under a big pressure, but our club now offer in many ways, even the money we can offer now in the first contract in MLS are not different, so different than the foreign clubs. We still losing a few players, but if I was a parent today, and I was a dad, I am still a dad, but my kids, I'm not sure I will send my kids abroad for first family reason, for developmental reason. If I have the right club next to me, because we all know it's way more difficult to go abroad and to be successful because first not the level of talent, but the quantity of talent. It's easier for me to make it here because if I am a good player, I have 4 or 5 players like me in my group. If I am in Europe, especially in the European, you can try, you can move at 16. At 16, it's become way more difficult. So it's 50-50. It's a choice. But if you are in the right club, there is no reason. If you really want to take risk and you are very, very, I would say, risk taker, you can go to Europe. But yes, we are under pressure because they know we have the talent, we know we have the club, they know we're doing a good job, and I take it like a compliment.
The type of player we're producing, many people would say that the level's improving, but we're not producing number 9s, we're not producing creative 10s. Would you agree with that? Disagree?
I see a lot of good kids which are in the middle as gifted as the other midfielder. I'd say everything in the middle, except the 9, we can do it.
Yeah.
I would say 2 things: winger, shifty, 1v1, still a problem in the US because of the don't play enough in the street. 1v1 culture. We taught the game too much in possession, not enough basics of foundation. And I relate to coaching education when I see how you call it, when you see 11-11, 99 at 11, 12 years old, how many times you are going to touch the ball? I would, if I was excessive, I would say before U15, you cannot play more than 5 or 6v6.
Before 15?
And you have to do 1 time per week or 2 times per week duels, 1v1, 2v2, the basics.
Love it.
And because what you can do at 3, after you replicate at 4, at 5, at 6, too much players. Because the coach doesn't know how to do 2 or 3 drills. He thinks if he lose sight of one drill, he's going to lose his capacity. No, expertise means you have to put the kids, especially for 70% of the session, they have to touch the ball and they have to be 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, and to be dynamic, transition oriented, simple thing. Here we teach too much with big numbers.
Interesting. Do you think then we over?
Why we think about the game? We think about the team. All the courses, Gary, are made to develop the team, not to develop the player, not to optimize the player.
When you look at that, I love that you saying when you go higher up the pitch, you're looking at that 7-11 or that centre forward. Wenger's talked about finishing school. Do you think it involves specialization, or do you think it needs to go back to more street style football, more free play at younger ages?
Street play, I'm not sure. I was training 3 or 4 times a week, and after the game on Saturday, I was playing with my brother the Saturday in the street. So when we say that the game teach is the best teacher, yes, in the street when you can play down the building in the cage, street soccer, 5v5, 2v2, like in the favelas, yes. In a club, it's good to have moment where the kids can play, but I would say now we have a constraint-based approach which can mirror what the game require and also develop cognitively the decision making and the perception. So I would say the real expertise is to replicate the game with an intent to stimulate the kids with a very specific purpose and being intentional in playing, not to be too restrictive, not say, oh, it's too touch mandatory, because it's stupid when you have the space forward to take two touch when I can commit and break a line in driving. That's stupid. And we see one touch, two touch too often. It can be one touch or play free because you see on the ball trajectory, you perceive that there was a space forward and you have to take your first touch forward to break the line and eliminate a line to opponent or to take a shot. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So the possession and limitation of touches created monsters of robotic players which give the ball, that's good, but also lack of defenders. And I come back to your initial question because I digressed. You told me what players? Wingers and fullback, 1v1 defenders. Because never the kids are stimulated in 1v1. So I know you are going to touch Gary or one touch. Why I'm going to commit? When I'm going to step up, I know. And I know you are going to play to touch. I'm not going to waste my energy to step up and to engage the duel. This is where, for example, the Argentinian culture is about a lot of 1v1. And I think it's a good way to approach also the training at the youngest age.
Ha. Let me confirm that. So you're saying there is that obviously the way players with the trickery were, but that's also leading on to a knock-on effect for fullbacks. We're not producing great fullbacks.
Lost because it's always the game. You develop the game with the opponent. You have great forward and weaker defender. You are not going to improve the forward. You have great forwards facing great defenders. You enhance the level of intensity and density of talent. You are going to make them better. Both. So we're talking about the competition, but in fact, what is lacking in the US is a density of talent you can regroup to enhance the global level. And this is why we still traveling, but in some countries, you bus 1 hour and you find pro academies and you don't need to travel. But you put 10 genius with two great, the best teachers in a room for 10 years, you are going to have an amazing talent, at the amazing product at the end. But you put one talent with 9 average students with one average teacher, is not going to make the same result. Does it make sense? It's the same for everything. So
We have to finish because I have an appointment. I have a meeting.
Fred, this has been absolutely brilliant. I would love to get you on again in the future, but thank you so much for being open to it, and thank you so much for your honesty and insight. This has been incredible.
Thank you, Gary. It was my pleasure. Bye bye.